Thapelo Sekano is a salesperson who shares his views on the year that has just passed and some of the lessons that he's learnt during lockdown. He decided to extend his culinary skills with his extra time at home and improve the way he navigates online shopping and banking. Now, he shares some insights into the wisdom that he gained despite the challenges of 2020. Thapelo, on that note, a very good morning. Thanks for joining us here on the AM edition of Newsfeed. I also dare to say Happy New Year to you. So when we look at the challenges that, you faced in 2020, I mean, what are the most important lessons that coronavirus, the pandemic, has taught you to date?
Morning, and thank you for having me. Where do I start? What a year has this been, The year has been anything but smooth, Yeah. But three things that really stand out in terms of what has worked for me during this lockdown was, of course, my online experience has increased. I've started cooking, of course, and I've started reading as well, or continued reading for that matter, So those are the three things that I think that during lockdown I had to adapt and ensure that I do them and continue doing them.
And so, Thapelo, when you look at the challenges that you've had to face during 2020, I mean, how did you handle the crisis? There was a lot of change that occurred during 2020, and navigating your response to those changes seemed to be what most people had to learn to do. How did you do that?
I remember the first time when we worked on a hard lockdown during level 5, and you looked at the long queues at shopping malls, and I looked at that and said, no, this can't be the new norm for me, And I'm one of those people that prefer or continue doing traditional ways, like your banking and all that. But when level 5 came, I had to adjust, I had to get online banking just to ensure that I avoid those long queues, And not to say that I didn't want to do them, but I had to do it just to adjust to the current situation that we're faced with.
We've also had to reprioritize a lot of things and reorder a lot of things. What did that reprioritization look like for you in the year of 2020 heading into 2021? What have you come to value most?
Firstly, health. And where does this come from is I'm a salesperson. You always out and out and about visiting clients and all that. So now and then you eat takeaway, But then now you look at this during the lockdown and you really need to learn how to cook. And that's one of the skills that I really had to acquire. I mean, for the first time in my long years that I've started eating home-cooked meals for 7 consecutive days. That is an improvement for me, So yeah, I've learned how to cook.
I'm actually wondering, Thapelo, on that note, I mean, you've had quite a few months to learn how to cook. What has been some of your favorite dishes that you've learned to cook? I mean, how have you managed to then teach other people in the household about your culinary skills during lockdown?
For some reason, I do enjoy meals and pasta, and that has become my favorite, to be honest with you. And that's the first thing that I learned how to cook. I mean, there's nothing better than eating your cooked meal, own favorite meal. And I think pasta and mince is my favorite. And I think I've become an expert in cooking that.
Wow. So, Thapelo, we can't ignore the fact that challenges such as the lack of remuneration must have impacted you and plenty of South Africans, during the lockdown when it was ensued back in March, even now as we face the ripple effects. I mean, how did you mitigate against some of those challenges? What did you learn to cut back on? How did you manage to live within your means as you navigate this new normal, which is unprecedented as well?
That is a good question. And going back again to cooking, I mean, when you cook, remember that you going to doing your own groceries.
Yeah.
So you start being conscious of prices. You start being conscious of reading labels, comparing brands, what is it that you're going to cook. So it's no longer that straightforward decision to say, I'm going to eat this, then you have it. So you've decided, you've sort of become an expert in terms of comparing prices, going back again and ensuring that you buy food that will last you for a certain period of time. So that has taught people to work within their budget, of course. Yeah.
We've had to navigate a lot of things, including how we work from home. And whilst most industries were affected and some were afforded the opportunity to work from home, I mean, the issue of waking up to get dressed every day was an issue. I mean, did you get dressed every day or sometimes have a pajama day? What was your business attire from home?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. There were days where it would be a pajama day, and 1 or 2 days, yes, of course, you try to stay as formal as possible, but in most cases, it will be your pajama days.
I just want to perhaps conclude this chat, Thapelo. I mean, as we look into the year of 2021 and what you're looking forward to the most as we head into 2021. I mean, are you looking forward to returning to work, re-socializing, having worked from home for so many months? What is going to be a highlight for you?
Well, the highlight for me is looking at 2020 itself. There are many things that we have to continue doing them, and many things that we should not take for granted. And I would look at basic personal hygiene that we've taken for granted. That is something that even post this pandemic, people need to continue doing, and I will continue doing as well. Just basic personal hygiene.
Well, Thapelo, we're going to leave the conversation there. Again, thank you very much for joining us here on the AM edition of Newsfeed and for sharing your personal story during lockdown. Of course, Thapelo Sekano is a salesperson and also positive influencer, just giving us his rendition of the year of 2020 and perhaps some of the challenges he faced, as well as the highlights that he's looking forward to as we enter the new year.